Hi, I'm Barbara Dunn, an attorney that works with groups in connection with their meetings, travel, and hospitality contracts.
And I'm Lisa Sommer Devlin, an attorney that represents hotels and resorts regarding convention-related matters.
And together, we're Legalese with the Ladies, powered by HopSkip. Thank you for joining us. Today's topic is going to be on commission payments in hotel contracts. Commissions are often paid to third parties, that is not either the group or the hotel, but to a separate party for placing business at a hotel. It's typically paid out of the rate, and it's typically paid as a percentage of the room revenue that's generated from the contract. One key aspect about commissions is that they do need to be stated in the contract, not only in terms of that amount, but also in terms of the payee who is going to receive the commission. And this becomes a very tight, difficult subject for a lot of groups because they may have been working with one agent at the time they negotiated their hotel contract. And then say many years go by when the time of the meeting comes and they're working with a different agent. And so many times the group might contact the hotel and say, we want to change the commissionable party from party A to party B. That's okay, right? And Lisa, you've been on the receiving end, I'm sure, of a lot of these inquiries on behalf of the hotel. That isn't always okay, or perhaps isn't ever okay.
Yes, from the hotel perspective, they don't have a lot involved in the commission situation. They are happy to pay the commission. That's helping the group put together their event, and they are compensating the third party for bringing business to the hotel, or what we like to say, heads in beds. So it's important in your commission clause not only to say who's going to get the commission, but what is going to be commissionable. Is it just rooms reserved within the group block? That's typical. Sometimes commissions can be paid on rooms reserved outside the room block. Sometimes third parties request that commissions be paid on no-show fees or early departure fees. I will tell you that most hotels don't like to do that because, again, they want to pay commission on rooms that are occupied and paid for within the group block because they're making money on those rooms and they're not making money on no-shows or early departure fees. But in terms of what Barbara said, I agree. Hotels don't want to be in the position of determining who's going to receive that commission. If you designate A as your third party for the commission at the time the contract is signed, A is what's called a third party beneficiary of that contract. A has enforceable contractual legal rights, and you can't just take those rights away because the group decides they want to work with somebody else. So a hotel is going to say to you, look, we're happy to pay a commission, but we're only going to pay one. And so you have to work it out between A and B as to who that's going to be, and we'll pay that person accordingly. Usually they're going to require that they get something in writing from both A and B saying, we agree that this is the party that's going to be paying the commission. Barbara, how do you handle that with your clients when that comes up?
Well, the first thing I do in asking the client is whether they had a contract with party A. Did they have a contract with party A, for example, to provide contract review, negotiation, services in connection for a commission? Or didn't they have a contract at all? They might not have had a contract. That's not uncommon. It always seems unsettling when someone might approach you and say, I'll do this for free. You probably think the good old saying that there is no such thing as a free lunch. In this case, sometimes groups are approached by third parties to get placement for contracts. They're searching for properties, negotiating rates, et cetera, and then the contracts don't state a commission. That was certainly a common practice many years ago, the so-called blind commissions and contracts, where a third party was getting a commission, but the group wasn't aware of it. So fast forward in the age of transparency, certainly commissions should be stated in the contract. Where I find the most issues arise is between the group and the agent when they haven't been clear about the services that are to be provided and how the agent is going to be compensated. So the key is often that it's the fact that there isn't an agreement between the group, or that the agreement between the group and the agent doesn't specify how the agent is to be paid. And that's really the main issue. And so often the groups will come, they want to switch the agent. They think it's just a quick fix in the contract or request. Once you make it known about the third party beneficiary, that does change things. And so it really cautions groups. That's not to say don't work with a third party. It's to say that if you do work with a third party, make sure you have a contract. Make sure it's clear on the services to be provided and how that individual or how that agency is to be compensated. Those are the two key elements. And then going forward, if you did want to change agent of record in a contract, then you might have the ability to do so and avoid the circumstance where you're trying to get the hotel drawn into that. Certainly, it's nothing that you'd want to do on the path going forward.
Another thing you need to think about is how long those commissions are going to be due. Something that I see often in long-term commitments, such as airline crew rooms, is that the third-party agent will want the hotel and the customer to sign an agreement that says commissions will be due as long as that airline is still using that hotel, even if the third-party agent is no longer representing the airline. Now, that can be kind of tricky because the airline has a right to decide that they're no longer going to work with that third party. The hotel, by the same token, has a right to work directly with the airline if the airline is no longer represented by the agent. But sometimes those terms are slipped in there and neither party realizes that that's what's going on. So when you're doing these commission agreements, it's very important, again, to emphasize what rooms are going to be commissionable, at what rate, and how long. When does that commission obligation end for either of the parties, and how can they end it? As Barbara said, the third party should have a written agreement with the company that they're working for that specifies when and if that commitment can be terminated, and then you're going to avoid those disputes.
Yes, Lisa, and one final comment is that there are a lot of groups that like to receive the commission themselves. In other words, there is no party A or party B. It's simply paid to the group. We'll be talking about rebates, which is really akin, this particular situation when commissions are paid to a group is really akin to a rebate. We'll be talking about that in another video. But it is something to think about if the group is to seek to get the commission. It's something that you've got to ask for up front. And many hotels will pull back or push back, I should say, on paying a commission if, in fact, the group isn't a third-party agent, isn't a member of the IATA organization and have an IATA or travel agent number to tie it to. So it is something to think about. From a group's perspective, you may be having better negotiation strategy with using a rebate or other concessions. So commission may not be the best route when you're using without a third-party agent. So just something to think about. Thanks, Lisa, and thanks for joining us today for Legalease with the Ladies, powered by HopSkip. Please leave your questions and comments in the comment box below. Thank you.